So we will dedicate our session to His Divine Grace on A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Then I would like to offer my obeisances to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. So we are on the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. You already know that it's part 2 of Bhakti Yoga, the middle 6 chapters, and we have discussed this last time. 7th chapter, knowledge of the absolute, 8th chapter, attaining the supreme, 9th chapter, most combination knowledge, 10th chapter, the opulence of the absolute, 11th, the universal form, and 12th, the devotional service. So knowledge of the absolute is the 7th chapter. In 7th chapter, we have 5 sections. First to 3, the glory of knowledge about Krishna. 4 to 12, knowledge of Lord Krishna's energy, which we have already covered in the last session. Today, we will be covering the section of 13 to 19 verses, the surrendering unto Lord Krishna. And the last 2 sections will be covered in the last session of this chapter. Demigod worship and impersonalism, and from delusion by Maya to devotion to Krishna. So anybody will like to revise anything from the last session? We learned about the glory of knowledge about Lord Krishna, and this was the most important verse which you memorized also. So anybody can willingly try to explain this verse in their own words.
I think Krishna tried to say hearing is the most important. Hearing about Lord Krishna is the most important aspect. And then by hearing about him, naturally, I think it will go through the mind into the heart, and then the love will develop for the devotee. And then once he hear about it, and then I think I didn't hear it attentively, but if he hear about it and understand Krishna, all the doubts will be cleared within the heart, and there is nothing else will be left out after hearing about Krishna. Maybe.
Okay, thank you, Shanmukhi. So basically in this importance of hearing was revealed, like what happens after hearing. You will get knowledge about Krishna and all your doubts will be removed. And when you know Krishna, your mind will be attached, you will be able to remember Krishna. So, and then you will practice Bhakti Yoga. So this was important verse last time. Next verse, which was important, was this, which we have already discussed just now, rarity of realized knowledge, Manushanam Sarishweshu. And then this verse, which was important, highlighting Krishna as the maintainer and supreme personality. So would anybody like to revise this section last time, which we did? Like how Krishna is the essence, Krishna is the maintainer, Krishna is the basis of everything. Some key points out of that thing. Would you like to revise?
Hare Krishna. So basically, Krishna tells Arjuna that everything rests upon him, and before this, he actually introduced the material energies as well as the superior energy of him in the form of living entities. So he basically tells Arjuna that he is omnipotent, omnipresent as well as omniscient, and he also later tells Arjuna that he is basically everywhere, like right from taste of water to the sex life which is as per the scriptures basically. So that is what he tells Arjuna.
Okay, thank you. So, and we also learned that there are 2 types of knowledges, like Gyan and Vigyan. Gyan is theoretical knowledge and Vigyan is realized knowledge. When we experience what we have learned, so that becomes a realized knowledge, transformation knowledge that transforms our heart, and then we are able to surrender to Krishna. That is important. Only gaining knowledge theoretically is not important. That should lead to surrender. And then we learned that they are like Krishna is the essence of everything. But Prabhupada says that Krishna is not limited to that. Krishna is much beyond that. So, and he also spoke about in 13th verse, this 12th verse, that Krishna is above the modes of material nature. Everything is conducted under the modes of material nature, but I am beyond. So that knowledge should lead to transformation and surrender. So today we'll be discussing about surrendering unto Lord Krishna.
And also the knowledge is said to be Aishwarya, and Vijnan is Madhurya.
Yes. Like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained in this form, that we can refer Gyan to be the knowledge about Krishna's energy, that is how Krishna is great. And Vigyan can be knowledge about how Krishna is sweet, how he is a lovable God. So that way also we can define Gyan and Vigyan. Okay. So this is the first verse of today. Would anybody like to read it? It's translation only.
Yeah. Jiva is deluded by modes, deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance. The whole world doesn't know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible.
Thank you, Rishita. So now Krishna is trying to give the reason, okay, first of all, why we are not able to surrender. Okay. We all know that there are three modes of material nature. And through these three modes, we are bound. And that's why we are called conditioned soul. We are bound by these three modes, and all our activities are conducted in these three modes. And that's why Krishna always highlights that go above these modes. He says to Arjuna also, Nishkraya Guna Bhava Arjuna, try to rise above the three modes of material nature. Because until and unless we are above these three modes, we cannot surrender unto Krishna. These three modes are binding us like a rope. Gunas are also called ropes. Like ropes binds us, these modes are binding us. And all our activities, whichever we conduct in this material world, are in one of these modes. From morning to night, we are conducting some activities in mode of goodness, some activities in mode of passion, some activities in mode of ignorance. But until and unless we rise to the stage of Shuddha Sattva, that is pure transcendental goodness, we cannot surrender unto Lord Krishna. Because only when we are in that mode, Shuddha Sattva, we can know Krishna. How? That Krishna is above these modes. He is transcendental. He is not bound by these modes. Like we have studied in the last session, that a state lawmaker is not bound by the laws. Similarly, Krishna is above these modes, and as he is inexhaustible also. He is not perishable. He is always there. So to get out of these modes, we have to do something, and that Krishna will tell in the next verse. So the reason why which we are not able to surrender into Krishna is forgetful of Krishna. We have come to this material world because of our own free will, independent will. And when we come in contact with this material nature, these material modes, what happens? It will, we are not able to remember Krishna. Because we chose to come to this material world, we wanted to enjoy independent of Krishna. So when we forget Krishna, what happens? We are always in a state of fear. Okay. We are not happy. We are always in anxiety, depression, because we are trying to solve our problems by our own self. But we don't know that we are always bound by these modes. And when we are bound by these modes, we cannot liberate ourselves. We cannot ourselves by our endeavors free ourselves from these modes. Anybody who is free or above these modes only can liberate us, like a pure devotee, like Prabhupada or Krishna himself. Because they are not bound by these modes, they can lift us. They can deliver us from this ocean of material existence. In a 12th chapter, he will say in the 12.7, Tesham aham samudarta, means I am the swift deliverer from this ocean of material existence. Now, in this verse, Krishna says, gives us the solution. What is the solution to get out of this material energy of Krishna? Somebody will like to recite the verse?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Daivi Desha Gunamayi Mama Maya Durantaya Mameva Ye Prapandante Maya Me Tam Tarantite. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it.
Thank you, Lavanya. Okay, this is one of the most important verse of this chapter, Devi Haisha Gunmayi. So here is saying that this divine energy of mind, for this material nature, this Maya, these three modes of material nature, Krishna is saying it's divine. So why is telling a divine to a thing which is binding us, which is not allowing us to go to Krishna? Okay, it is called divine because ultimately it is energy of Krishna. It is in connection with Krishna. So anything which is in connection with Krishna is always divine, always Devi. Okay. And this divine of energy of mind, it is not this energy which is blocking our vision to Krishna. Okay. There can be three factors, like we give an example of always, like sun is there, clouds are there, and us, we are there, the observer is there. Okay. We can say that the clouds are blocking the vision of sun from our eyes, but can clouds obstruct the vision of the sun? Sun is so vast. No? It is not the clouds. It is the our vision is, it is not the sun which is covered. It is the clouds which are covering our vision for the sun. Similarly, Maya Devi is blocking our vision for that Krishna. In understanding Krishna, it is like blocking our vision towards Krishna. So this is the example given. And Krishna himself agreeing that it's very difficult. It is Durataya, this Maya is very difficult to overcome. And now somebody may say that if we are in search of Krishna, then why Maya Devi is obstructing us? Okay, it is not Maya Devi who is obstructing us. Maya Devi is given this duty by Krishna. She is working under the direction of Krishna. She is working under the will of Krishna, because this Maya Devi is like a shadow. Like shadow moves, similarly, this divine energy of Krishna is moving under the direction of Krishna, under the will of Krishna. Now, it is not the Maya which is obstructing. It is our own free will, which is not allowing us to choose Krishna. We always in a dilemma what to choose, but by our free will, we always move towards temptations of this material world. We always choose Maya instead of Krishna. So it is we who are at fault. Example of the MCQ paper is given here. Like we are given an MCQ paper. In this, there are 4 or 5 choices. Okay. Now, the purpose of the teacher is not to fail us. Okay. She wants us to choose the right option from them. But definitely she will provide the other options so that she comes to know that we understand the subject well and we make the right choice. So Maya Devi also wants us to make the right choice. Okay. She has been given us the duty that whoever wants to surrender to Krishna, she will clear the path for that person. Otherwise, she will keep the other person deluded always. So now Krishna is saying that the persons who are surrendering unto him can only cross this divine energy of Krishna. So surrender is important. Now, what do we understand by surrender? Surrender cannot be passive. Surrender has to be active. Active surrender means when we are working under the direction of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. The more we are inclined to follow the instructions given in the scriptures, inclined to follow the instructions of our spiritual master, inclined to follow the instruction given by Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita, the more we surrender, more we are favorable. Like we will accept the instructions. We'll try to practice them. That will indicate our surrender. That's why, see, the more we are interested in spiritual activities, say that we will say how surrendered this soul is. He's always 24 hours working in Krishna consciousness or in devotional service. So surrender has 6 aspects, as Sanatana Goswami has described in his book called Hari Bhakti Vilas. Okay, so it has been taken, this shloka from Padma Puran, and in this 6 aspects of surrender has been described. First is like Anukulasya Sankalpa. We have to accept the things which are favorable for our devotional services, practice those things. That is, we have to always try to stick to our daily sadhana, strict sadhana. Strict sadhana means we are accepting whatever is favorable for our devotional service. The second aspect is Pratikulasya Varjanam. We are avoiding anything which is unfavorable to devotional service, like all material temptations, anything which will take us away from Krishna, we have to reject it. Then third is Rakshishanti Vishwashu, means we should have that confidence that Krishna is my protector in all circumstances. Ananyas Chintayanto Ma. Krishna will protect whatever I have, and Krishna will give me whatever I lack. So that faith we should have. And the other one is Gop Tirte Varnam Katha. It means like we should have a faith, we should consider Krishna as the only maintainer. So then this is like Gopi Bhav, then we think we are thinking Krishna is our only maintainer and thinking 24 hours by 7 of Krishna. Then our Atma Nikshepa, like feeling full surrender, like giving ourselves to Krishna, Atma Nikshepa. That is one type of surrender. And the last is Karpanya. For this surrender, we should have a feeling of like humility. We should be very humble. If we are not humble in like accepting the instruction of spiritual master Krishna, without that feeling of humility, we cannot surrender into Krishna. So these are six aspects of Sharanagati. So we have to surrender unto Lord Krishna. That is the message over here.
Mataji, Atma Nivedanam comes under what out of these 6?
Atma Nivedanam is like we are similarly, we are surrendering our whole body, mind, and soul in service of Krishna. We are giving ourselves to Krishna, keeping nothing for ourselves. That is Atma Nivedanam. You want to say anything? It's like that. So always this is like we have already discussed, do not tell Krishna how big your problem is, rather than tell Krishna how big Krishna is. So whenever we are in problem, we should have a faith that we can tell to our problem that this is nothing for me. Okay, because we have so much of faith in Krishna's protection that we can tell to that problem that Krishna is so big, or this problem is so small in front of Krishna. That faith only will help us get out of the clutches of this material energy of Krishna. Now, in the next verse, now the question comes, if this is the simple solution, surrendering to Lord Krishna, to get out of this divine energy of Krishna, then why don't all people surrender to Krishna? Okay. We are surrendering to so many things. We are taking shelter of so many things in our life. Somebody takes shelter of a job. Somebody takes shelter of family relationship. Somebody takes like shelter of money. So many others people who wants like search of knowledge, they take shelter of Brahman realization or some other factors, aspects, different aspects. Some philosophers or poets, they want to take shelter of their poetism. So many shelters, but these they don't recognize that these all are artificial shelters. They are temporary. They will not give him eternal happiness. Only shelter unto Lord Krishna will give them that eternal happiness. They don't understand that. That's why they are searching for happiness and shelter in so many worldly things. That is unfortunate. Now Krishna will talk about 4 types of people who doesn't surrender to Krishna. So somebody would like to recite this shloka?
I'll try, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Namam dushkrutino mudhaha prapadyante naradhamaha maya pahrutajnana asuram bhavamashritaha. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me.
Okay, thank you, Anand. So in this shloka, 4 types of dushkritinas. Dushkritana means miscreants. They are not favorable towards anything spiritual. They may be working against the instruction of scriptures. They are impious. Okay, so they have these have been divided into 4 categories according to Krishna, and these 4 categories have been explained by acharyas in different aspects according to their own time at that time. They have divided a slight differences there, but basically grossly, though grossly foolish people are the people who are hardworking beasts of burden. The typical example is given in Prabhupada's quote is about an ass. These people are like, they are working like ass. Like we have seen so many like ITNs, they are working from morning till evening, night, day, night, they are working hard, and they don't know for whom they are working. They don't know that we have to work for yajna, we have to work for sacrifice. They are working for the 4 animalistic tendencies we have discussed so many times: eating, meeting, sleeping, and defending. They don't know anything beyond that. Okay, they will be working only for satisfying their senses. That's their only motive. Okay, they're so materialistic, then they don't want to go behind that. Like an ass, he's working whole day in this according to his master, just to get a bunch of grass in the evening. And this ass doesn't know that that grass is freely available in the park outside. He's working so hard to get that bunch of grass. Similarly, these people, they are working so hard to satisfy their senses. They doesn't know that if they surrender to Krishna, they can get eternal bliss and happiness. And another example given in the purport is about a hog. Hog likes to eat stool. If we offer him some sweet meat, some gulab jamun, he will not be interested in that. Similarly, when we approach these mudas, these foolish people, to give them spiritual knowledge, to give them this like Gita course registration, we approach them, they will be saying we don't have any time, because they cannot think beyond satisfying their needs. So they are called as mudas, and such type of people will never surrender to Krishna. And the second category explained in this verse is about Naradhamas. Naradhamas means the lowest among mankind. They are neglecting the prime duty of human being. We have discussed this. We are human beings, and the purpose of human life is to move towards self-realization, then Paramatma realization, and then Bhagwan realization. We have a purpose. We are not like animals. We have been given this human form of life, and we have to utilize this in doing bhakti. But those people, they are not inclined, spiritually inclined at all. They are neglecting the prime duty of being a human being. They are called as Naradhamas. Example given is like they will do all type of sinful activities. Like Jagai and Madhai were in Chaitanya Leela. Jagai and Madhai were so sinful, they were lowest among mankind, but Nitya and Prabhu delivered them. So it is said that, okay, these Mudhas and Naradhamas are impious people, and then they cannot surrender to Krishna. But sometimes, by chance, if they get a mercy of Krishna's devotee, pure devotee, sometimes they are elevated to the level of pure bhakti. Like Jagai and Madhai, Nityanand Prabhu delivered them and they became pure devotees later. So, but that is very, very rare and exceptional. Then comes the third category, which is explained as Maya Prahatyana. These Maya Prahatyana people are that they may be knowledgeable. Okay, they might have many mundane knowledge, or some of them maybe have knowledge of impersonal Brahman. But still, these people, this jnana has been stolen by Maya. What does it mean? Like due to this illusionary energy, they will not accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They will say that either Krishna doesn't have any form, he is Nirakar, or they will say that Krishna has taken a human form of life, so he's just like any another human who has more powers than us. So sometimes like that, they will explain about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these people are called as Maya Aprahat Jnana. The last category is Asura Mahavashita. These people are like fully atheistic. They doesn't believe in God, as well as they will be envious of God. They will be so much envious that sometimes they will say harsh words towards Krishna. Like example of Shishupal. He always used to say some words for Krishna, annoying words to Krishna. And similarly, other people who are aesthetic like Duryodhana, okay, Hiranyakashipu, Kansa. These people were demonic. They had demonic tendencies. They will not accept Krishna. Opposite to that, they will do everything opposite. They will be envious of Krishna, try to prove Krishna as lower than other aspects and all these things. So these people are demonic tendencies. So these four type of people will never surrender unto Lord Krishna. Only by mercy of a pure devotee, sometimes these people get pure devotional service, until unless they have no hopes. So after describing these four types of duskritnas, Krishna will now describe four types of sukritinas, which is opposite to duskritinas. The sukritinas are pious people. Somebody would like to recite this shlok?
Hare Krishna. Chaturvada bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna arte jijnasu radhardi jnani cha bharatarshava. O best among the Bharatas, 4 kinds of pious men begin to render devotional services unto me. The distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the absolute.
Thank you, Lavanya. So, Chaturvidha Bhajante Mam. 4 kinds of people bhajante. Bhajante means they start worshipping. But from bhajante to surrender, prapadante, this one word prapadante. Yeah? So from bhajante to prapadante is a progression. So first we start worshipping, then slowly and slowly when we progress in our spiritual life, we are able to surrender, give ourselves to Krishna, prapadante Mam. So that is fully surrender. So these type of people, they may have some motive. For that, they come to Krishna. We have learned about this demigod worship. It will come in this chapter in further session, that people approach demigods if they are distressed or they want wealth and all. So they are called as demigod worshippers. But here, the persons who are distressed or desire of wealth, they are approaching Krishna directly. So since they are approaching Krishna directly, they are called as pious. Sometimes when we are in distress, we are in trouble, we are in anxiety, we have problems, we approach towards Krishna. We'll ask Krishna to solve that problem. So in that way, we are at least approaching Krishna. So these 4 type of people are said as Mishra Bhaktas. They are Mishra Bhaktas or Sakam Bhaktas. They have some desire to obtain in exchange of their devotional service. That's why they are not pure devotees. They want something in exchange for carrying out their devotional practices. So distress example, in Shastra, it is given about Gajendra. You all know Gajendra's story will come in Bhagavatam. Gajendra, when he was one crocodile was attacked him, he in distress, he was so much in distress that he cried out for Krishna. See, demigod Shiva and Brahma came for his help, but he didn't agree to that. Only when Vishnu came, then he offered a lotus flower to him and offered prayers to him. So that way, when he was distressed, he called out to Vishnu. So that's why he's a bhakta. Then he's a pious person who is asking Krishna for something. Similarly, this desire of wealth are the people who in want of wealth, in want of money, property, they are approaching Krishna. The example is given of Dhruva Maharaj. First, Dhruva Maharaj wanted a big kingdom for himself, greater kingdom than his father. So he left his kingdom and went into jungle to worship. Okay, Narad Muni guided him that you have to worship Krishna, Vishnu, then your desires will be fulfilled. So he did so much of austerities to get this property, and he worshipped Vishnu. Vishnu came, but what happened? Vishnu purified him. So whenever we ask something from Krishna, the result will be that Krishna will purify us and then give us that thing which we are desiring. It is opposite to demigods. Demigods will give us anything we want without thinking. They will not purify our heart. But when we approach Krishna, Krishna will purify us, even if we approach him with some desires. And the third one is inquisitive. Sometimes somebody is very inquisitive, very curious. He just wants to know what is this, what is bhakti about, who is God. They come out of curiosity. At that time, they don't have any devotion in them. So, but out of inquisitivity, when they meet some pure devotees, then they will come to know about Krishna, and slowly, then they can progress to pure devotional service. Inquisitive example is given by Sonaka Adi Rishis. When they inquire from Sutta Goswami, then Sutta Goswami recites Bhagavatam to them. And in contact with Sutta Goswami, who's a pure devotee, they listen to Bhagavatam, and then they also become pure devotee. And the last out of these pious people is person who is searching for knowledge of the absolute. This person who is searching for the knowledge of the absolute is called a Jnani. Now, this Jnani is different from the Jnani which we learnt in Jnana Yoga. That Jnani was just wanted to discern matter from soul, and he want to become self-realized and all these things. But this Jnani is a Bhakta who is in knowledge of Krishna and is able to do devotional service, devotional activities. So this Jnani is different from that impersonal Jnani. Now, these 3 categories of distressed, desire of wealth, and inquisitive, they are called as Karma Mishra Bhaktas because they have some fruited desires in exchange of devotional service. And the last category, searching for knowledge of the absolute, is called as Gyan Mishra. Gyan Mishra Bhakta matlab he has full knowledge of Krishna, and the bhakti component is also there. But in all these four categories, the bhakti component is more as compared to others which we have studied before, like Jnanis, Karmis, and Yogis. These Jnanis, Karmis, and Yogis, they are having a component of bhakti, but that component of bhakti is very less. So that is the difference between these two. So this way we understand four types of Sukritinos. So anybody has any question?
Mataji, Karma Yogi or Jnana Yogi or whatever we mentioned, Dhyana Yogi, so still they are connecting themselves with Supreme, right? So, but still you say that these four Sukritina, I mean, pious people are having more devotional component compared to them.
Yes, actually it is explained that these are we say Karmis, Jnanis, and Yogis. Okay, they are also trying to connect with Krishna. This is called yoga. Okay. But what will happen? These Karmis, Jnanis, and Yogis, they have to first purify themselves, rise to a higher ladder, and then they will be in some of them they will be able to reach to the level of Bhakti Yoga. Okay. And in that, the component of bhakti is little less than before. They are not approaching Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, directly. Here we are talking about those people who are directly approaching Krishna, and that's why they will gain the pure devotional service a little faster as compared to the others. They will also they also connect to Krishna. These people are also connecting to Krishna, but the progression from bhajante to papadante will be faster in these people if they come in contact with pure devotees. Everywhere it is like by the mercy of a devotee or by the mercy of Krishna, anybody from any level we have seen can rise like a lift to Bhakti Yoga. That is always there. But there is a comparison that these have less component of Bhakti in them, that have more component of Bhakti in them. And that's why they will be able to reach the goal faster. You want to explain something?
Yeah. Sharmukji, did you understand?
Yeah, I understand. I think
Yeah,
see, these
basically-
people are directly approaching Krishna.
Yes.
In though they have desires, whereas
Yes.
the other people, though they try to connect with Krishna, I think the devotional component, they may not be doing devotional service.
Yes. They may be in karma, through activity they are approaching, through Gyan Marg, through Ashtang Marg. Here, the devotional component is what we generally say is more than 50%. While the rest of it is Karma Mishra Bhakti or Gyan Mishra Bhakti or
But from the beginning, they are directly approaching Krishna for whatever they want. And though other Garmis, Jnanis, and Yogis they are putting their own endeavors to discern what is matter, their own endeavors they are trying to. They are not approaching Krishna directly first in the beginning.
I think so. All of us fall in this category.
Yes, mostly like we are
Right.
Sakam Bhaktas.
We are Sakam Bhaktas or Nishkam, but we have devotion to Krishna, but we are still, attached to some other thing. We still have desire for wealth. We are still inquisitive. If there is a distress, we will approach Krishna, right? So we
have understood that yes,
Yeah.
Krishna is the
Krishna is
supreme.
to be approached.
So maybe we are under this category. That way we can understand.
Yeah.
Mataji,
Okay, go ahead.
Mataji, sorry, Shanmugam, you wanted to say something?
No.
No. I just wanted to understand. Means I probably have misheard, but did you mention that the distressed bhaktas are also Sakam bhaktas, and these are not like pure bhaktas basically? So what I feel is, the distress condition could be temporary for someone, and a bhakta could be like pure bhakta, but during the distressed condition, like the one that Draupadi faced, when there was nothing helping her, she ultimately, approached Krishna. But does that really mean that, Draupadi wasn't a pure devotee of Krishna?
See, in what happens when we are distressed or we have desire of wealth. Why we are called as Sakam Bhaktas? Because in distressed or desire of wealth, we may approach Krishna for some certain period of time, and we will be like wavering from, we will like do devotional service for some time when our distress is solved, and then we will go down. Then again, some problem arises, we will do our devotional service activities very intensely. We have seen so many devotees like that. Okay, when they are in problem, they will chant their rounds properly, and they will involve themselves more in devotional activities. And when the problem is solved, they will become little they will not do the devotional activities so nicely. So these people have ups and downs in their devotional service. That's why they are called as Sakam Bhaktas. Though they are approaching Krishna, their problem is solved, they will be little down and then up and around. And these people, the again thing is, when they come in contact with pure devotees, slowly and slowly, their anarthas will reduce, their desires will reduce, and when their desires will reduce, desire of bhukti and mukti, then they will be like become pure devotees. But that takes a long period of time. And about Draupadi, wants to say something?
Draupadi and all, see, they are pure devotees. They are like, for them, Krishna is everything, right? For example, if you talk about who's son of Draupadi?
There are five
Who's son?
people, five
Huh?
sons.
Abhimanyu?
Five sons are
No.
there. Five sons
Abhimanyu.
are there. Five sons
Right.
are there.
From five. From Arjuna, it is Abhimanyu, right?
But
Who is
that is
wife of-
Subhadra's son.
Abhimanyu.
Abhimanyu, sorry. Subhadra's son. So, I was talking about Abhimanyu only, sorry. So, who is wife of Abhimanyu?
Uttara.
Uttara.
Uttara. Now, when Ashwatthama sent this Brahmastra on Uttara's womb, what did Uttara do?
She
Prayed
approached Krishna.
Yeah, prayed
She approached Krishna. She didn't approach her grandfathers.
Yeah.
Arjuna or Bhim or Yudhishthira, anyone, right? So they would approach Krishna for everything. As a courtesy, because Draupadi wanted to show actually for Bhishma and Drona and everyone, she also approached them, right? And because none of them helped her, actually that is known as that, laying down of the foundation for Kurukshetra Yuddha. And her husband could not help her because they had already lost themselves. Now, and then what did Draupadi do? Draupadi tried herself. And finally, when nothing was working, she approached Krishna. For Draupadi, there are other examples also. Like when Durvasa Muni was coming, he came when they were in exile. And Duryodhana intentionally sent Durvasa Muni because he knew that they would not have enough to feed him and his disciples. So when this happened, Draupadi approached. Draupadi said, I have nothing now. Then she thought of
Krishna.
Again, when Arjuna was becoming angry that Drishtadyumna has killed Drona, again Draupadi thought of Krishna. So Kunti Maharani, right? Although she was a auntie Bua of Krishna, how has she glorified Krishna, right? So they are all in different relationships, but they are not like, they are pure devotees of Krishna. And they are setting an example that, for example, if you see Sudama, right? He would not go to Krishna to ask anything, but still, he would not have also ego also. Why? Because Krishna is very smart. Krishna does not want anyone to feel a little proud. That not having anything also sometimes make us proud. That my austerity is my pride. So Krishna wanted to really manage that part of Sudama. And Krishna gave him opulence. And for others, sometimes Krishna shows his mercy by taking away everything so that they can be involved. But all these, people, they are pure devotees. And they want to set one example or the other that we, for us, as pure devotees, when these devotees would approach Krishna for everything and anything, and Krishna will help them to show that Krishna really helps. So Krishna reciprocates. Arjun and Duryodhana both went to Krishna to seek help in Kurukshetra war, right? But they both had different mindset and they went there with different approach. Krishna said, I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to lift weapons. Arjuna said, regardless, I want you. Whatever you do or not. And this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also sings in Shiksha Ashtakam. That whether you love me or you kick me, I'll come to you.
So in Bhagavatam also we will learn so many stories about pure devotees. It's not that pure devotees will not have any problems. So Krishna, by reciprocating them, he wants to teach and
pure devotees. Why they are pure? Because whatever may happen, they will not leave Krishna. Whatever may happen, they will not leave Krishna. Pandavas, see, you ask, who had more problems, Pandavas or Duryodhana, the Kauravas?
And did Pandavas had more problems?
Did they say Krishna is useless? Because we are Krishna's devotees, we are his relatives, we are his devotees. But then again and again we are having problem. Let's try something else. And this Krishna is also now saying, I am not going to lift. Yes, we are in so much problem and he knows all these problems. And finally he is saying that I am not going to lift weapon and I am not going to do this and that. Did they reject him? No, they didn't. That is what is known as, unalloyed devotion.
No other desire other than Krishna.
Whatever may happen to them, whether there are no problems or whether the life is full of problems, they will not go to any other demigod. And Krishna will highlight this fact in this 7th chapter itself. That Arjuna will ask then why these people go to demigods. So Krishna will say they want quick result.
Whatever they want.
Yeah.
It is according to our free will what we want. So accordingly Krishna will reciprocate. Always he says like that.
Harshad Prabhu, is that clear?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So it is not that if we go to Krishna in distress, there is any doubt about our purity, right? No. Prabhupada, we always have to pray to Krishna. We always have to be dependent on Krishna, right? And our dependence on Krishna is to serve him, right? Ultimately, you see how renounced the Pandavas were. They didn't want anything for themselves. You see Arjuna, he didn't want to fight. He said, I'm happy with just begging. Yudhishthira Maharaj, he never wanted to. Draupadi, you please try to understand, when Ashwadhama killed all her 5 sons, what did she say?
She forgave her.
Krishna
She forgave
said,
her.
yeah, she said, please Arjun, you don't kill Ashwadhama because I don't want Kripi to feel that is, that is compassion. That reflects their purity, And Krishna wants, sometimes we check that. Krishna said, no, you kill him. Then Krishna will check. Your Guru will check. Actually, what is the depth of your, devotion and compassion? We will always have choice. In devotional path also, there are many easy paths, right? And there are many people like, you can just sit, for example, for Gita course, we can just sit, pay money to Facebook and try to get online registration and then give a class. Very comfortable. You don't need to do anything. Why then we go to streets? To purify ourselves. No other purpose. Krishna will see that they because that makes us humble. That makes us humble. While paying to Facebook or any other social media to get, participants for Gita registration, that would not make you humble. That may make you, fine, you're giving in an easy way, you're giving classes and all that. That's fine. Prabhupada has given us everything, to get the pure love. Go on the streets. It's like we beg. Many people think that these are just beggars, right? So, that makes us humble. When people look differently. And Krishna wants his devotees to be humble. He will make sure.
So the lesson is whether we are in practicing stage or we are in perfection stage, we have to depend totally on Krishna in every rendition of us. These people may be practicing states. We all are in practicing stage. We have to depend on Krishna. We are not yet pure devotees. So in the 17th and 18th verse, Krishna now talks about something like he compares these four categories of Sukritinas. 17th, he says, of these, the one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best. For I am very dear to him and he is dear to me. Now he's saying that out of all these four, which we have discussed, distress, artharthi and jigyasu and jnani, the person who is in full knowledge, like he's already in knowledge of Krishna. And because he is in full knowledge of Krishna, as well as he is desireless, he doesn't have any desire for himself. Okay? And he doesn't come under the category of Sakam Bhaktas. The other three comes in the category of Sakam Bhaktas because still they have some desire of Bhukti and Mukti in them. Though they are practicing devotional service, they have some desire of Bhukti and Mukti. That's why the person who is in Gyan, who is Jnani, full knowledge of Krishna, he will definitely engage in devotional service of Krishna. And so Krishna says, out of all these four, that Jnani is the best. And he is very dear to me and I am very dear to him. But the thing is, now here Krishna is saying that he is very dear to me and he's, like in the next shloka he says, all these devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous souls. So all the other also he's saying they are very udar, they are very magnanimous. Okay, because what Krishna wants devotees so eager for the love of devotees. He wants them all of us back. So even if they are approaching Krishna with desires, he's calling them as magnanimous. Because he's saying at least they are approaching me. So he becomes happy because he knows once they have approached me, somehow or other, I will purify them, my devotees will purify them, and one day they will come back to me. That's why he's calling them as magnanimous. They will come to pure devotional service. So it is now not so pure. They are in the practicing stage. Okay, they are trying to approach me. And for the Jnani is saying, one who is situated in knowledge of me, I consider to be just like my own self. Okay, he's saying to a person who is in Jnana, I think he is like my own self. But pure devotees, for pure devotees, what Krishna says, he will be saying in Bhagavatam. For pure devotees, Krishna says, I consider them even greater than myself. I love them more than myself. Like for Uddhava, they say, Uddhava, you are so dear to me, you are more dear to me than myself. Even Brahmaji, Shivji, no other person, no other demigod. You are very dear to me and more than myself. So for pure devotees, Krishna always says they are greater than myself. For Jnani, he's saying he's equal to me. He is like my own self. So being engaged in my transcendental service, he's sure to attain me the highest and most perfect goal. So because these Jnanis are engaging themselves in devotional service of Krishna, they will achieve the highest and most perfect goal. Now, goal, what does goal mean? Goal means sometimes we want that we don't want to come back to this material world again. Even these Sakam Bhaktas, they have to come to a platform of Jnani. They have to become Jnani first. Jnan Mishra Bhakta they have to become. Because all of them has to have full knowledge of Krishna. Because without knowledge, they will not be able to practice devotional service. So all of them first come to platform of Jnana, and then they are practicing devotional service. They are engaging in transcendental service, and then one day they will achieve the perfect goal. Like Bhakti, this Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that there can be different destinations to these devotees. Okay. Like Sakam Bhaktas. Sakam Bhaktas may get a liberation type, like they can get a Salokya Mukti. Salokya Mukti, that they can come up to the same lok of Vishnu, like where Vishnu, various Vaikuntha lokas. So they may come up to that level, but they may not rise up to the level of any rasa with Krishna, like Dasya Rasa, Sakhya Rasa, Madhurya Rasa. They may not be able to reach to that goal, but at least they will get that Salokya Mukti. And for Gyan Mishra Bhakta, he says that he can achieve up to Shanta Rasa. Shanta Rasa matlab, he is like neutral. He's serving Krishna in a neutral way. That, up to that liberation he can reach. And these Sakam Bhaktas as well as Gyan Mishra Bhaktas, when they come in contact with pure devotional service, they can also engage with Krishna in the other rasas, like Madhurya, Vatsalya, and Sakhya and Dasya rasas. So there are different destinations and different types of muktis are also explained, but that detail we will study in Bhagavatam. And the last verse of today's is this 19th verse, which talks about rarity of pure devotee. Bahunam janma namante jnanvan mam prapadatte vasudevah sarvam iti sa mahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. So this shloka we can compare with the 7.3, Manusya Nam Sahesheshu. In that it was like out of many of these Manushas, one is like endeavoring for perfection. In this it is said that after many, many births and death, one who is actually in knowledge, for even a Jnani who has come to the platform of Jnani, he will also surrender to Krishna after many, many births. Because now he will be realizing that Krishna is the cause of all causes, but such a great devotee is very rare. Such a Mahatma, such a pure devotee who has surrendered unto me fully is very rare. So ultimately it concludes saying that a pure devotee is rare. We may be Karmish Bhakta, Sakam Bhaktas. For us, it may take many lifetimes, but yes, ultimately the destination we will reach. So this is the conclusion of this section of 7th chapter. Somebody has questions, they can ask.
Mataji, just follow-up question on this. So here the Jnanamam means the one who is in complete knowledge of Krishna, right? And,
Yes.
And then rendering devotional service, even for that person, it takes so many births to realize that Vasudeva is everything.
Is Vasudeva is the only cause of all causes?
Cause of all
Yes,
causes.
definitely. It is okay because it is coming in flow. So here that Jnanvan is like Jnani, who is in full knowledge, but still for him also it will take many, many births to come to that level to understand that Krishna is the only like Vasudeva Sarvati. He will know that.
How about the Jnana Yogis and all that? That will be even millions of
that
births.
will be even far, like far off. Okay. But yes, Jnani, if he comes in contact with pure devotee, by the mercy of pure devotee, by the mercy of Krishna, they will it's a progression from bhajante to surrender. So their surrender will be faster. Okay. It may, sometimes we can say it may take one life for them. So Gyanis and yogis and karmis, it might take many, many lifetimes. We can have a comparative also like that. So definitely Krishna is praising Gyanis over here, Gyani Bhakta, a Gyani Bhakta. For him to come to pure bhakti is easy.
And what she's saying is that association of devotee. Now, in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a dynasty of Swambhuv Manu. Swambhuv Manu had 3 daughters and 2 sons. The 3 daughters, does anyone know the names? 3 daughters. Devahuti, Akhuti, and Prasuti. And 2 sons, Priyavrata and Uttanpad. Now, Uttanpad had a son whose name is Dhruva, Dhruv Maharaj. Now, Dhruv Maharaj, he was desirous or he was pure devotee when he went to forest?
He was desirous of the kingdom as big as his father, even bigger than his father.
Bigger than his, great grandfather. So he was desirous. But then on the way to the forest, whom did he meet?
Narada Muni.
Narad Muni. Narad Muni is a pure devotee. Narad Muni is a pure devotee. So he met Narad Muni with mercy and association of Narad Muni with his guidance. When Dhruva then performed the meditation, he met Vishnu Bhagwan, right? When he met Vishnu Bhagwan said, now you tell me what you want. And Dhruv Maharaj said, I was looking for broken pieces of glass. Now when I've got diamond, I don't need anything more. But then he said, Vishnu Bhagwan said, no. Now when I've come, you will have to ask. So then Dhruva Maharaj said, if you want to give me something, you give me what? What did he ask?
Association of devotees.
Association of
Pure devotees.
Pure devotees. So he thinks in this entire cosmic manifestation, what is the most important thing? Association of devotees. So sometimes we think and take it very lightly that what Mataji is saying, that you can easily come if by chance you get an association of devotee. But when we try to understand this in context of other devotees, in context of Bhagavatam, then it sinks in. Now, Dhruva Maharaj had son, great grandson and all. So who Dhruva's son was Anga. Anga's son was Vena. Vena's son was Maharaj Prathu. Prathu Maharaj, he was a partial expansion of Krishna. Right? When he was playing his earthly pastimes, he also happened to meet, Vishnu Bhagwan. And when Vishnu Bhagwan asked him, what do you want? He also said the same thing. I want association of devotees. And in the dynasty then came King Prachini Varishad. Prachini Varishad was, if you remember, we discussed him, he was a full Karm Kandi person. He was doing different type of, karmic sacrifices here and there. And when he met Narad Muni, again a pure devotee, his eyes opened and he also had darshan of Vishnu Bhagwan. And then Bhagwan came, he again said, I want to hear your glories in association of devotees. And then, who were children of Prachini Varisha? Prachetas, 10 Prachetas. Prachetas also. Prachetas had a good fortune of meeting Shivji. And Shivji recited Rudra Gita for them, glorifying Krishna. And Prachetas recited this for 10,000 years because they were in Satyuga. Then they had, because they, like the way Dhruv Maharaj, followed the instruction of a pure devotee. Similarly, Prachetas followed the instruction of pure devotees and recited Rudra Gita. They also had darshan of 8-form Vishnu Bhagwan. And then again, Pracheta said, we want association of pure devotees. So why consistently all these devotees are asking association of devotees? Because they know it is only in association of devotees that we are secure. It is only in association of devotees that we can progress. It is only in the association of devotees we can come to know about true nature of Krishna. Right? So that we'll see consistently. But this is very important thing, that it is only if we have a great fortune of associating with pure devotees, then our growth is exponential in our spiritual life. So we should always seek to associate with devotees. Any other question?
Prabhuji, I have one small question.
Yes.
Here it looks like the Krishna consciousness, that is the knowledge as well as surrendering unto Krishna. It can happen basically after many births and deaths, basically. However, I recollect, in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned Krishna consciousness is something which can happen in a moment, or it may take many births. So can you help me connect the link between these two?
It's the same thing.
Okay.
You can surrender into Krishna in a moment. And it also depends on your pious credits, like Sukritis. Why we go and distribute Gita, why we ask them to chant one round of Krishna, because that will give them some Sukritis, some pious credits. They will accumulate that for lifetime. And somebody,
Prabhupada, when he went to West, his initial disciples were Westerners. And when they read some philosophy, they understood. They asked Prabhupada, what did we do in our previous lives so that we have become devotees? What did Prabhupada say? Prabhupada said, it is by my association and by my blessings.
you don't have any qualification.
You don't have any qualification. You want to make them humble. At the same time, highlight the importance of devotee association. So when Prabhupada is saying millions of life, there are many people, Harshad Prabhu, there are many people who will artificially show they are chanting, they are devotees. They will put, all the, natagwaji of this. Inside their heart, they want to enjoy. Surrender is, it's like fully surrender, like in love. Krishna wants our love. So if you want to hold on to anything of this material world, and then you are saying that you are a devotee and this, then that is not surrender. That is still not full surrender. See, that is what she just mentioned. Gyan Mish Bhakta, Karma Mish Bhakta, or these type of work. We are still in a purification stage, like Bhajante stage. While Prapadyante in itself has, it's like full surrender. So one may become, overnight, while others may take lifetimes.
We have seen so many small kids in devotee families. We have given previously examples also. From the beginning of their birth, they will be inclined towards scriptures, or they are able to play mridanga so well. They are chanting, and when they chant, they are happy. So it is all about their previous life, and so it will be faster for them. Okay, definitely. And it depends on how much we have in our credit account. The sooner we will be able to surrender to Krishna. We have seen so many devotees. We approach them, and within 1 year, they will be like fully surrendered. They become nice devotees. And some devotees, they are lingering on for 15 years, 14 years, but still the tendencies are not going. So it is like your own self plus your pious credit in your previous life, which all accumulate. And it depends whether you are able to surrender in a moment, you are able to understand the philosophy, or you will like still try to contemplate on things. So it all depends on so many factors. Your surrender depends on so many factors. So the more you surrender, Krishna will respond accordingly. Vedami buddhi yogam, he gives the intelligence from inside. So that's the thing. It depends.
Thank you, Mataji. Thanks, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Any other question or comment? Okay, so in that case, we'll end the session here.